Alrighty, we will call to order the October 9th meeting of the Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember T. Wynn.
Here.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember K. Wynn.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beard.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
And Councilmember Bowie is absent.
Thank you. Can we have Maria Stipe lead us in the invocation, and then Councilmember Klopfenstein lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance as we meet here tonight to conduct business on behalf of the city. Help us to keep in mind that we are here to serve the community and enable us to make our decisions so that we may do what is best for all of the citizens of Garden Grove. Amen.
Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do have several presentations tonight, starting with a legislative update as presented by State Senator Janet Nguyen.
I like the new room. I haven't been here since. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here to provide you with an update on legislation that may be of interest to you and residents of the great city of Garden Grove. For me, it is always a pleasure to be here in Garden Grove, my hometown, and the city where I began my public service career 14 years ago. I've had the privilege of representing you, this city, since 2004, first as the council member, then on to county supervisor, and now as your state senator. In all capacities, I have enjoyed working with city staff and your honorable council on various initiatives to help build a better, stronger community. And I also want to thank your staff, your city manager, for all the work that they've been doing and the aggressive work they've done to better our community and city. With this goal in mind, I've always believed that one of the ways we build a stronger community is by staying connected, and that is why I'm here today to inform you of some of the important happenings in Sacramento. Since I last visited you, I was appointed to the State Allocation Board, which is responsible for allocating the $7 billion in bond money to K-12 schools across the state. I'm proud to share that earlier this year, Garden Grove Pacifica High School was a recipient of a $5.25 million for seismic mitigation grant. Also, we championed for La Quinta High School, received a similar grant of $5.4 million. The funding would be utilized to replace two gyms constructed back in the 60s, thereby better preparing our schools for a natural disaster. I was also appointed to serve on the Senate Select Committee on the 2020 census and will be working with my colleagues to ensure that all Californians are counted. Federal and state dollars are allocated based on census numbers, and the city would greatly benefit from any accurate count of your residents. I look forward to working with you on this initiative in the years to come. Apart from my work on these committees, I'm also here to share an overview of some of the important issues that were considered in this last legislative session. For those who may not be familiar with the legislative body, our session lasts 2 years, and on August 31st of this year, we concluded that 2-year period. In 2018 alone, more than 2,400 bills were introduced. So as you can imagine, the topics were very, for us to review was just as broad as you can think of, everything and anything. We've put together some bills that we believe that is of interest to the city of Garden Grove. Some of the new laws that is impacting businesses. AB 1884 makes it a crime for a restaurant to provide a plastic straw to customers unless specifically requested by a customer. AB 375 is a sweeping privacy legislation that gives consumer greater control over how their personal data is being used by businesses. This law also significantly increases the online privacy of children under 16 years of age. New laws also impacting affordability. SB 100 will significantly increase energy bills by requiring that California produce 100% of its energy by 2045 from renewable sources only. The other bill, SB 855, which expands the state income tax credit program to include individuals between ages of 18 and 25 years of age and those over the age of 65. New laws impacting public safety is AB 2363, which is a zero traffic fatalities task force. It will require the Secretary of Transportation to create a task force with local government representatives to produce a study of how to best reduce traffic fatalities and injuries to zero. AB 2256 is a law enforcement agency, OPID, authorizes a pharmacy, wholesaler, or manufacturer to provide to law enforcement in which they can save lives by treating opioid overdose. SB 212 is a pharmaceutical and sharps disposal, which establishes a statewide take-back system for expired prescription drugs and needles overseen by Cal Recycle. A couple of other bills, one impacting education and a few impacting homelessness as well. Impacting education, you've got AB 1808, ensures the existing career technical education incentive grant program, which we call Caltech, continues to benefit students with ongoing funding of $150 million per year. AB 3205 requires schools to install doors that lock from the inside when they do modernize the projects. And that, as you know, is extremely important. As you know, I also have two children, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I'm living the working mom life and knowing exactly what we need and how and what it takes to be a mom in elementary, who has children in elementary school, and what policies that have been enacted that's affecting that. For homelessness issues, SB 918 enacts the Homeless Youth Act of 2018 to establish grant programs to support young children experiencing homelessness. This law is on top of a budget allocation of $359 million to assist counties in dealing with homelessness and $312 million for mental health programs. So you will be hearing that. You will be working with the county and the different cities in that funding as it heads to Orange County. In addition, you know, some of the issues that you have that has been talked about, I just want to make a mention of it. In addition to these new laws, we are now feeling the impact of the gas tax that was passed last year. The gas tax, which is SB 1, increased taxes by $5.2 billion a year with no sunset date, and it will not be used for new roads, so it won't add any additional capacity. The gas tax is a burden to all businesses, families, and community members who depend on their cars to carry out their daily activities. And it greatly impacts my district. Majority of my district, people commute to go to work. And so as the gas prices go up, it makes it more and more difficult to choose between pumping a gallon of gas or a gallon of milk for their family. There is an active effort to repeal this tax, and it's going to be on the November ballot as well. Last, but certainly not least, I also, one of the bill that we author was signed into law is SB 895, which creates the state's first model curriculum on the Vietnamese American refugee experience, the Cambodian genocide, and also the Hmong history and cultural studies. I want to thank your Honorable Council for your support of this bill. I appreciate your early endorsement of this effort. Thank you to the cities like Garden Grove and thousands of residents who traveled to Sacramento and signed over 18,000 signed an online petition, and over 1,000 individuals traveled to Sacramento over 4 committee hearings to testify, standing side by side with me. And Governor Brown did sign the law sign the bill into law on September 22nd. So again, thank you for supporting this much-needed legislation, but also thanking you for having supported a lot of my legislation as we have been able to work together in the last 4 years. To conclude, I want to reaffirm to you my commitment to serve you and the families of the city of Garden Grove. As your representative state, I will continue to work hard to bring resources back to our community. As you know, my district office is extremely active. That serves all residents of the 34th. I represent about 1 million residents and about 12 cities. And should you or the community members need any assistance from our office, please feel free to contact us. Our office is right off of, actually, corner of Main and Garden Grove Boulevard. The address is actually Garden Grove Boulevard, not Main. It's 10971 Garden Grove Boulevard, Suite D, and our phone number is 714-741-1034, and that's 714-741-1034. And again, I appreciate for allowing me to have an opportunity to give you an update today, and I'm honored to continue to work with you and your staff on any effort that we can work together to better and help our community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can answer any questions if you would like. If not, thank you for giving me the time.
Any questions? Thank you, Senator, for the update. It's just staggering to think about the volume of different things you have to learn about and research and gain expertise on. And so thank you for your service. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, it's you know, when I look at my days on the council, the issues we deal with, and then when my days on the County Board of Supervisor, you know, you went from a few departments within your city, then you went to, you know, almost 30 departments. I mean, from the airport to, you know, OCTA, you name it. And then when you go to the state, you learn everything.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Sometimes I look at it's like anything and everything that can breathe has a representative in Sacramento or an association that represents them. It's quite interesting, and you know, our state. I've been a Orange County gal, Garden Grove gal. I've learned a lot of what's out there in the state of California. It is so diverse, and not just, I'm not talking about just ethnicity or culture. Agriculture we've got, I mean, you name it, the land, the way, you know, just the cities, the counties, the issues are, I mean, you know, there's districts that are dealing with, you know, valley fever, while we are dealing with something else. You know, it's just amazing. And so I've actually learned a lot and have a greater appreciation for the entire state of California and how diverse we are just to stay in itself. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 1B.
Item 1B is a community spotlight in recognition of Garden Grove resident David Casabo for serving as a member of the Orange County Grand Jury.
This evening, the Garden Grove City Council is pleased to acknowledge a Garden Grove resident who has served on the Orange County Grand Jury. Every year, over 100 local residents apply to serve on the Orange County Grand Jury. The California Grand Jury is unique in its function and selection process compared to other juries. Each year, or each county is required by law to select members to serve for 1 year. These members are mandated to investigate and report on both criminal and civil matters within the county. The responsibilities of the grand jury is to examine all aspects of county government, including special districts, to ensure the county is being governed honestly and effectively. At this time, I'd like to call forward Grand Juror David Casabo. A 49-year resident of Garden Grove, David was born and raised in the Appalachian Mountains of Pennsylvania. He served in the United States Navy in 1956 as a petty officer, second class, aviation electronics technician. David left the Navy 4 years later to pursue a career in the electronics industry. He was hired by Autonetics, a division of North American Aviation. David spent his entire career in engineering, manufacturing, marketing, and field operations. David is credited with 2 inventions on the inertial guidance system for ballistic missile submarines. So David is very smart. I'm impressed. After his retirement in 1993, David pursued his lifetime hobbies of woodworking and restoration of antique radios. He also worked part-time as a magician's assistant, food bank manager. I know. I'm going to disappear. Television studio set designer, theatrical technician, engineer, and videographer. In 2004, David submitted an application to serve on the Orange County Grand Jury, and he was selected to serve as Sergeant at Arms and co-chair of the Criminal Justice, Juvenile Services, and Recruitment Committees for 2 terms. For the 2017-18 term, he served on the Criminal Justice and County Committees and chaired the Recruitment Orientation Committee. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Grand Juror David Casabo with a certificate and a gift for his dedication to the community and for his hard work and commitment. Thank you, David, for your service on the Orange County Grand Jury.
That was good. I like that. Sure.
Three. One more. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Well, thank you, City Council and Mr. Mayor, for this honor. I'm gratified to be here today. I spent 3 years, 3 terms actually, on the Orange County Grand Jury. That was the most exciting and informative and educational time of my entire life. I would invite you all to quit this job you've got here and get on the Grand Jury. Do something for the county. So, but I applaud the efforts of the Garden Grove City Council in recognizing those of us who serve our community. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we have one more, and this is a recognition of community and economic development and police departments for receiving the 2018 Helen Putnam Award as presented by Tony Cardenas with the League of California Cities.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, members of the Garden Grove City Council. Tony, it is my pleasure to be here on behalf of the League of California Cities to present the City of Garden Grove with the Helen Putnam Award for Excellence. This award was started back in 1982, and it's only given to a select few cities statewide that go above and beyond the call of duty when serving their residents. Garden Grove did just that when it established their Neighborhood Improvement Committee back in 2016, chaired by our very own police chief. That committee went out to the community and engaged its residents, established new lines of communication, and that yielded positive, tangible results. Those residents are now more proactive when asking assistance from its peace officers, and they're closer to the goods and services here in City Hall. So in recognition of that committee's great work and the leadership of this city, it is my pleasure, Mayor Jones, members of the City Council, City Manager, and team, to present to you the Helen Putnam Award for Excellence. Congratulations.
In like a pocket.
That one first. One more. One more. One, two, go.
Say something?
Yeah. Talk about what you do.
I got forced up here, so.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor and council members, I'd just like to say what an honor it is to accept this award. This was a collaborative effort between several departments in our city. And I think it's an outstanding example of, I believe, us getting into the community and really solving the problems and interacting with them. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everyone that participated in this. Thank you.
And I want to add to that just briefly and say it was a collaborative effort among different departments, but also nonprofits, churches. We had the Living Spring Church out there volunteering. We left behind a beautiful piece of public art, which is permanent for the neighborhood to enjoy. We cleaned up, we did a lot of things that day and brought up a neighborhood and the community together going forward. So it was a wonderful opportunity, and it's great to be recognized for it. So thanks to everyone involved for all your hard work and efforts. Okay. We will now move on to oral communications. I have a handful of cards here, and I'll start with Tony Flores.
Good evening, council, staff. I'm Tony Flores. We had a mayor used to say, getting 50% of something is better than 50% of nothing. We're starting to hear that at these neighborhood meetings to promote Measure O. What's interesting about that is that, you know, we keep feeding this government machine we call Garden Grove City Hall, and we're not really getting our return on it. For example, a lot of folks will probably go to Vegas, you play that favorite machine, you feed it $500, you come back with $250. I got $250, but you left $250 over there. And what this mayor did not say was that 50% of something is better than 50% of nothing, but that's taxpayer dollars. Years ago, when we put the Alicante in, any boys and girls remember that? The Alicante, when that went in, we put up $11 million for that. We were told back then that the Garden Grove PD was going to make just as much money as Irvine PD. That was back then, what, 30-something years ago, maybe even more. Now here we are in the future, and we're staring at Measure O. We had Measure H in 2000, Measure N in 2002, Measure Y in 2012. Again, told the same thing, that we're going to get more police, more public safety, and we're not doing it. But we're feeding the bucks in it. There was a publication not too long ago where Mr. Jones there, you said that we were putting in more people. We're continuing to add more folks into our city. High density isn't cutting the mustard. If we listen to what Chief Elgin said on the 27th of September over at Eastgate Park, that's not doing us any good. We've been understaffed for years and years and years, but nothing is being done. A lot of folks are skeptical about Measure O. I'm one of them. I can tell you right now, I don't support it. But just because I don't support it doesn't mean I'm anti-police, anti-public safety. I'm probably as far as the civilians are concerned, I'm the most pro-police you're going to get without wearing a badge. So to paint people in that picture isn't very nice, and folks are starting to do that out there, and that's not true. With the information that's being put out, let's talk about that information being put out. We're being told that crime is going to get worse. Since you folks have been in the council, it's skyrocketed. Not quite sure what you folks are doing out there to combat crime. If you're doing something, you should let us know what you're doing. Just wait and see, like your policy on Sanctuary City, wait and see it isn't going to do it either. We need to get out and take action. Here's an example we can do probably without spending some big bucks. I've mentioned before the Fleet Management Fund, over $37 million in there. We can get some of that stuff, some of that money, put it to work to start getting some cops on the street. A volunteer auxiliary police unit, to get out there and patrol the high crime areas. If we believe what Chief Elgin is telling the public about how crime is going so sour here, there's no reason not to start processing CCWs, carrying concealed weapons permit. I'm not saying hand them out like Pez, still follow the same restrictions, handed them out in the Ninth Circuit that the Orange County Sheriff is adhering to, but it's going to get bad according to the chief. unless he's BSing us, and I don't think he is. So those are the three options that we can do, that we can start to move on. And also on these flyers that you sent out, there was about, what, maybe 20 people there, Scott, maybe? And there's 3,000 that were sent out for this particular meeting, and I have the other counts here as well. But on Measure O, we had that discussion over at Eastgate Park, and thank you for being there, Scott. But you also told the folks that the advisory committee, it's purely advisory. It's really not going to do anything. You folks, the council, are going to be there to handle the dollars. The advisory committee can come up with all these great ideas, but it's going to be you folks that's going to be handling the money. The same folks that have put us in this position where we got to, you know, jack up another tax. Let's do some alternative thinking on that. Before I go, October 27th, 2018, over at West Grove Rec Room, some concerned citizens are putting together a Meet the Candidates forum specifically for District 1 candidates, and of course, the 2 mayoral candidates as well. You'll be getting some information on that. Hope you're able to join us, come out and see what, these are folks that aren't allowed on certain Facebook pages and whatnot. I'm one of them. My information's censored as well there. But in any case, this particular meeting, get to know the folks, take some questions. I'm sure there'll be some Measure O questions, so brush up on your answers, whatever those may be. Anyways, thank you. Have a good evening.
Melody Alford.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I'm representing the people of Lee Lane and Lamson because we're all impacted. For the past few years, residents of Lee Lane and Lamson have had to watch the let me pronounce this right, Ten Sa Yak Lee Temple at 11262 Lamson Avenue built. This has been a great impact on Lee Lane with traffic, and they actually stop the traffic on Lee Lane and get out of Lamson, and they stop traffic going in both directions, and they use Lee Lane to unload and load people. And then they park all the way up and down our street. We cannot leave our houses on their temple days during those hours because there's no parking. We already have several parking problems on our street. We also have the issue now of 12441 Lee Lane is now being turned into a temple. So that's another temple 300 feet from that temple. Where are all these people going to park? It's a 10,000 square foot lot, and he's in 4 months, you cannot believe what he's done to this house. And we just think something needs to stop. You have a title, I put it down there. I'm not a very good speaker, and I will be the first to say this. Our neighborhood has limited parking already. We're a cul-de-sac, so there's only one way in and one way out. And when you stop us and tell us we can't go in or out because they're directing traffic, and no city has been out there to stop them from going in and out. Our neighborhood, you know, we get along. We're a multi-diverse neighborhood. We've never had any problems with each other, and now all of a sudden we're having problems with these temples taking over our neighborhood. You do have on your books, it's called I think it's called Title IX Single Family Residence Code that directs that they have to have a certain size lot and then use zoning. Can this not be enforced? Can we not have a loading and unloading zone in front of the temple on Lamson, painted in green so they're not stopping the traffic on Lamson? Because it's not just us, it's the traffic on Lamson that are out there standing out. And can they not rent Garden Grove High School to park? Can we, you know, work with them? But I mean, the one on our street, where are we going to put these? You know, they had a grand opening. I mean, the whole street, there was nothing left on our street. So, you know, you have a zoning law that needs to be enforced. And I don't know if we can, you know, work with you, but that we'd like to have you do something. You know, at least come out and talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you. John Holm.
Honorable Mayor, honorable members of the City Council, honorable staff, my name is John Holm, and I'm here to talk about an old friend of mine, Old Glory. You know me as a software engineer, as a computer programmer, but in my youth, some 50 years ago, I was a member of the United States Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps teaches us pride, dignity, and respect. And one of the things they teach us, aside from the first and last word of every sentence, which is sir, they teach us about how the American flag is treated. The American flag always stands to the left of all other flags. Look what you've done. Somebody knew what they were doing. We don't see that. The American flag also, if shown at night, has to have a light on it. Sometimes, yes, sometimes no, but it should always have a light on it. I happen to go for a morning constitution to stir up the sentiment. This is why I look so young, and I'm not. And in that course, I walk in the dark now, and I walk past two temples, one on Lamson and one on the corner of Lamson and Euclid, and the flags are not lit. Now, this means nothing to just everybody in the room except for Harold and a few other former Marines, but this is like grinding your fingers across a chalkboard. It really bothers us, and we think that Old Glory deserves respect. Should be the tallest, should be on the left, it should have light on it at night. It's a simple request. And we have these two facilities that don't honor that, and to a Marine, they bother me a lot. And I just want to pass that on to you, and I think it's something you can do to fix. Thank you.
Greg Durfee.
Hello, council and staff. Much has happened in the Garden Grove school system since I last spoke with you. Very positive for the city and the community. What I gave you was an opportunity by law to engage in a dialogue, a partnership of the city, and as well as bring Main Street alive. And I know the mayor, we go back in September 2013 to OCTA, and we waited 5 years, and the 23rd, I would say we need to celebrate. We've got a victory. And our schools are seeing that the education scores will arise, even with ADHD. In my reports I found, there's a positive thing. The congestion, all as a positive for the city. And they're excited. And also they're willing to work towards the chairman to a different type of education vocationally by AB 235. Would it be wonderful, Mayor and the council, if you could have a bike shop where the police department donates the bikes for free and give them a pre-apprenticeship program on mechanical aptitude of fixing bikes, and bring down a shop where they get their bike fixed, and if the people can't afford a bike, you can have one for free. Wouldn't it be great if you have a beautification class, which your Mr. Stiles nodded said last time? You have that opportunity because the people down there at Main Street are not going to be there forever. So you have to think about bringing some life in a new youth and circulate that effort that you're trying to achieve. Also, I gave you a response letter from District 12 in your possession. I'm working with Mr. Brian Annis, the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, working to solve your problem. The other thing is I'd ask for council's consideration. You all have bikes. If not, go to Poplar Woods. I know that the mayor goes there. And take that bike, please, out of respect for safety, and go on the Pine side, going towards Spring side on the north side, and try it out for yourself and let you decide if you're happy with the road. According to Papa Willie Bryan said, it's gnarly. I knew this 3 years ago, and your staff wouldn't fix it. Now you have SB1, and you want safe routes to school. I would challenge any one of you who has a bike, even the city manager, give it a whirl and then make your decision. It's not safe. I have a heavy truck, and I'm doing this in the lane too. That's something you have to think about. If you're going to make safe route to school, what it means, make it safe for everybody. Okay, fair enough? That's what I'm asking for. The next thing is I gave you a packet. I touted a lot of things that I had nothing before you, but now you have, back in 2000, Gray Davis document, you have posts. All those are things I talked about with Broadwater are in your packet for fact. The other thing is I provided you is a list of things. I'm very concerned. I have 27 years in the city of Tustin in maintenance. I was a water treatment operator. I was licensed in 2 states out of 3. Out of 5, I did trim trees and aerial bucket. I was a commercial driver. and I had a city of DG granite material. I'm not here to criticize the city, but I would caution you to put asphalt for a dog's paw is not a cool thing. Also, are you applying for emergency trucks based on your engineering standards to meet that criteria for a heavy truck to drive on? I don't think you did. So I would think you should go to a DG Granite. I've gone to all the trade shows in landscape. DG Granite is a very forgiving on the paws, and DG is forgiving on the weight limits. It might be a little bit more, but the end result, in the case of emergency, they're not going to take their paramedic truck and walk a mile. So you may want to think about that. The other thing you may want to think about is drinking fountains where there's a main on either side of Nutwood, starting the project, and then to Burkhurst, some drinking fountain for dogs and animals. They get hot out there, they need thirst. I've seen it happen. I also like to suggest that you think about having exercise equipment, because in the harbor and Sean Nelson's district confirmed they do have it. And if you get a foundation going, which you do have, Mayor, and have advertising in the area of the trail that would sponsor the equipment, that would pay for the situation. Also, I think you should have dog parks. You don't have enough dog parks in our community. And also, whether that apartment complex over there, Mayor, by Nutwood and it doesn't have basketball court if you do this project. They need a basketball court over there by the apartments. You'll see it because we don't have enough parks. So in this, I would like to put on the agenda the things I've asked for, because I've got the school writing letters to you, and I'm working with you and your staff so that we can respond back to it's a positive thing than a negative. Okay? Thank you. And please close in remembrance of the lady who died of Magnolia. And Orangewood, please.
Brandon Bowie.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members and city staff. I just live on the Lee Lane neighborhood with everyone here. We've been having a lot of very peaceful neighborhood. Our kids could try to skate and ride bikes on the neighborhood once in a while in the afternoon and fun. So, but lately, because of those tempos, we cannot do that anymore. It's really concerned our kids' safety. They not only park everywhere in front of my house because that's my next neighbor. They also damage our house, our grass. They walk on my driveway. I'm sorry. Our kid one day just say, Dad, look outside. There's someone just walk on our driveway. And they just walk outside. They just walk back to the temple. I just remember a few years back, we have a robbery in our neighborhood. It's really concerned us already, put us on concern and high alert. Now, with the temple, they have a lot of activities starting on September 14th to September 21st. They have meeting and lecturing every single evening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Take out parking away, and then I'm the next door, so I can hear everything they do. And of course, they're going to hear whatever we say in our house. It's really, annoying. It's really disturb us as the neighbor. I hope that the city council could do something, because we went out to the city hall. Everyone said it's nothing we could do. It's nothing we could do. I just have a little question. What about us? We've been there. We've been to Garden Grove for so long. We do our duty, but something like this happened. I urge you to do something to stop them. And I believe it's not just happened at our neighborhood. It's happened at a lot of different areas in the city of Garden Grove too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nicholas Dibbs.
Mayor Jones, members of the City Council, citizens of Garden Grove, My name is Nicholas Dibbs. I graduated with honors from Pacifica High School and then went on to Cal State Long Beach, where I received a BA in biology and a minor in chemistry. I received the award that's given by the university once a year to one student out of the entire university for community service. The President's Associates Community Service Award for Outstanding Community Service Leadership, Human Service Award. I've devoted my life, most of my life, to helping other people and trying to make the world a better place, sharing with students the importance of being good citizens. Now, we have an election coming up, and I received, as you probably did, the booklet from the Registrar of Voters. So 1 month from today, we have an important election. And there are two important things, one involving the city and one involving the school district. I'll start off with the school district. I ran for school board in November 2016 here in Area 1 in West Garden Grove, here in Garden Grove. The school district interfered in the election using taxpayer funds that are supposed to be for our public schools, using the school messenger alert system that's funded by the taxpayers, and disparaging my name on October the 18th, 2016. I didn't discover it until August of 2017, and I'm dealing with that issue up to today and in the future. So it bothers me very much, and it hurts. It really bothers me because our public schools are supposed to set an example for the students. Our public schools, our administrators, our teachers, and the staff in the school districts are supposed to set an example for the students because they are the future citizens and leaders of our country. And when elections are not fair, when local elections are not fair, our country is in a mess. If we can't have a fair elections for city council and or for school districts, where are we going to go as a country? So I'm very concerned about this because on Sunday evening, it was brought to my attention that our superintendent, Dr. Gabriella Maffei, sent out 1 or 2 Facebook posts, basically with Bob Harden's campaign logo and a link to his campaign. And I don't think, you know, it may not be illegal, but it doesn't have to be illegal to be unethical. It's unethical and it's not right for the superintendent, who gets paid close to $300,000 a year, to be unduly influencing the election that I was part of. Allegedly she did this, and then to now send this out. And Caitlin is running against Bob Harden in Area 4 of the Garden Grove Unified School District. And I want to urge people to check out her website. Mr. Harden served with distinction on the school board for 24 years. That isn't the issue. The issue is that the superintendent, who's employed by the school district with taxpayer-funded salary, is using her position to send out a Facebook post promoting Bob Harden. So I think that that's wrong and it's unethical. So I want to urge the voters and the citizens of Garden Grove, now that we have 1 month left to the election, to check out Caitlin's website, Caitlin, K-A-T-E-L-Y-N, Brazer, B as in boy, R-A-Z-E-R.com, who's a young lady running for school board in Area 4. Okay, now the second thing, let's go on to the election here in Garden Grove. Measure O is coming up. Now I've read this in the ballot, the summary, and there's no linkage that I can find that if the voters of this city pass the 1 cent sales tax, that we will be able to use that money to maintain our own fire department. So there apparently is no linkage, and maybe the city attorney can clarify, but I see no linkage in here that if we pass a 1 cent sales tax, are we going to be able to maintain our own fire department? Now, as Tony Flores brought up earlier, there was the Hotel Alicante. There were 2 people that spoke out against that redevelopment project. It was myself and Kurt Pringle, because the money was we're putting all this money out to do that project years ago, and I don't think it panned out so well for the taxpayers. In any case, we now have the golden handshake, and the city is losing about 57 skilled staff. That's going to cost money. So we're told, yeah, we're going to save money here if we do the golden handshake, but yet we're going to have more training costs go on. So I want to ask, if you want the citizens to pass this Measure O, the council can pass a resolution tonight or put it on the agenda for the next meeting, linking that if it passes, if it passes, the city can keep our own fire department. And we need to hire more paramedics. I talked to the firemen. We need more firefighters and paramedics in the city. So let's pass Measure O, but link it to that. So pass that resolution. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Okay, that concludes oral communications. We're going to recess to conduct other agency business, and we have the successor agency tonight. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Beard?
Here.
Member O'Neill?
Here.
Member Teeuwen?
Here.
Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Kwan?
Here.
And Chair Jones, and Vice Chair Bowie is absent.
Here. Okay, we already did oral communications simultaneously with City Council, so we have 2 consent items. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Okay, any matters from agency members? Seeing none, we will adjourn back to City Council. Which takes us to consent items. Recommended that 3A through 3F be acted on simultaneously unless anyone would like to pull an item. Any pulls? Nope, seeing none. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Okay, item 4A. There are ordinances for second reading and adoption.
Item 4A is the second reading of ordinance number 2894 entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove establishing regulations pertaining to the establishment, maintenance, and operation of outdoor dining areas in the public right-of-way on historic Main Street between Acacia Parkway and Garden Grove Boulevard.
Thank you. We already acted on the first reading at our last meeting, so this is a second reading to officialize that ordinance. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Takes us on to matters. Go around the horn. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I want to wish Mayor Jones a happy birthday.
Yay. Should we sing?
Yeah, happy singing? Okay.
Oh, we'll do that later. Nobody wants to hear us sing. Just real quick, our resident that was honored tonight, David Casabo, on the grand jury, after hearing his resume, you know, I've been working since I was 13 years old, and I feel like I'm just getting started with all the things that he's done. Oh my gosh. So congratulations to him. And then also our police department, congratulations, and the other departments in the city for the award tonight. That was great. That's all I've got. Women's Club has a boutique coming up, and I'll give you more information next council meeting. That's it.
Well, happy birthday to Mayor Steve Jones, and happy birthday to my son, who's going to be turning 9 this week. Also, happy birthday to everyone this month.
I have some exciting news. On October 13th at 4:30 p.m. at the Elks Lodge on Trask Avenue, we will be showing Coco. So if you haven't heard or learned too much about Dia de los Muertos, it's a very important holiday in the Mexican heritage, tradition, cultural aspect. It's one where families gather, friends gather to honor those who have passed and help them along in their spiritual journey. And I think that the Disney movie Coco does a really excellent job of showcasing what that means and educating everyone on what that means for the culture that, we, not just so we're celebrating something empty. I encourage everyone to come. There's going to be activities before the movie, and then the movie will start at 6:30 p.m. Hope to see you all there. And happy birthday, Steve.
When is Coco again? What's the date?
It's on Saturday, October 13th. The doors open at 4:30 p.m. and then the movie starts at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
I would just like to make mention of some comments during oral communication from some residents of Lee Lane and Lamson. I wanted to appreciate them coming out and respectfully sharing their concerns and taking ownership for their community and neighborhood in the way that they have tonight. Going forward and looking at this, I know Councilmember O'Neill and myself, since we kind of shared this area, are looking forward to having a meeting with the residents and some staff next week to just talk about next steps and have an opportunity to share ideas and look into this matter a little further. Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Scott?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, just one item I want to remind the community about. Actually, 2 weeks today, right before our city council meeting on October 23rd at 4:30 p.m., we're going to have a pretty historic event. We will be cutting the ribbon on our first new fire station that's been constructed in this city in probably 50 years. And it's on West Street in West Haven Park. And so we will be, more information to come from for the public on that. I anticipate we'll have the usual, some small speeches and some other stuff, but then we'll have tours of the building. The public can come in and see the facility for themselves and what they're getting for the money that they so generously have given to us to help build the facility. So that will be October 23rd at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you. Omar, do we have anything to report out from the closed session?
We do have something to report out of closed session. So before the main council meeting, council met in closed session and unanimously authorized the city attorney's office to commence receivership proceedings for abatement at properties located at 11461 Westminster and 11931 New Hope.
Thank you. And with that, we're adjourned. We do have cake, I think, in the other room, so you're all welcome to join us over there. Thank you.
Thank you.